Forget all the brand talk, the fancy commercials, and whatever's blowing up on them online forums. This here's about what truly matters when it's just you and the moment staring back. Think your setup's already dialed in? Still hanging onto that old single stack without giving it a second thought? Swearing up and down there ain't nothing better out there? Well then, sit tight, cause what I'm fixin' to show you just might shift how you look at everyday carry. This ain't about showing off, it's about what works. Real-world grit. The kind of faith you earn not from talk, but from burning powder at the range and walking long miles on the blacktop. We're taking a look at 7 carry pistols that don't just sound good on a spec sheet. These ones pull their weight when it matters most. Let's dive in. Let's get this rolling with a pistol that don't make the headlines much, but sure earns its keep, the Springfield X BS Mod 2 OP. This one's what I call a grab-and-go piece. It's slim, light in the hand, easy to tuck away, and it'll give you anywhere from 7 to 9 rounds, depending on how you set up your magazine. What sets it apart in a crowded field of polymer pocket pistols is how steady it shoots. No sharp kick, no wrangling to hang on. The grip's got just the right bite, solid enough to keep your hold, but not rough enough to chew up your side if you're carrying all day. The trigger ain't going to win style points, but it's crisp on the break and resets quick, so you can stay on target if you need to double up fast. For a pistol this compact, it handles follow-up shots better than you'd expect. It's got an optics ready slide too, a chamber flag you can see and feel, and low snag sights that won't hang up when you draw. That kind of stuff matters when time ain't on your side. I've carried this one appendix at 3 o'clock, even running a bare bones inside the waistband rig under gym shorts. Truth is, it's one of the few pistols this size that's never once made me second-guess my holster choice. No, it ain't the latest thing off the line, but in a world always chasing shiny and new, sometimes what you really need is something simple, tested and built for a job. Now we're moving into the high-end stuff. And believe me when I say the Shadow System CR920 earns every penny of its price. Picture this, if a Glock 43X and a tuned-up race gun had a kid, you'd end up with something real close to the CR920. It's built to play nice with Glock gear where it counts. Fits Glock 40 3X MOS holsters, runs on Shield Arms mags, and shares a whole bunch of parts with the platform most folks already trust. But Shadow Systems didn't just copy Glock, they polished it up. You're looking at a match-grade barrel, slide cuts to speed up lockup and shave off some weight, steel night sights, and a flat-face trigger that snaps at about 4.5 pounds. With a short feel-it-click reset, and yep, it's ready for optics straight from the get-go. That comes standard. I've run this pistol through cold snaps, in the muck, and with all kinds of ammo, and it just flat-out runs. No stutters, no complaints. The slide rack's quick and sure thanks to those deep-cut front and rear serrations. And that extended beaver tail locks your hand in solid even when you're pushing hotter plus P loads. What got me the most, it don't shoot like a micro. Feels more like you're running a full-size duty gun. It tracks flat. Recoil stays straight up and down. Follow-ups are just plain fast. So if you're the kind of shooter who wants your everyday carry to handle like your service pistol, the CR920 might just be your new go-to. If you've ever wrapped your hands around a full-size HKVPP9, then you already know this outfit doesn't cut corners when it comes to feel and build. The VP9SK takes all that goodness and packs it down into a smaller, easier-to-carry frame without shorting you on what matters. Now, this ain't the lightest pistol in the bunch, and it sure ain't the skinniest. But if you're talking about what gives you real peace of mind, this might just be the one. Every part of it feels overbuilt, from the heft of the slide to the way the recoil springs set up, down to the guts of the trigger. And that paddle-style mag release? Some folks fuss about it at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's fast as a whip and works just as easy for lefties as righties. This pistol runs smooth too. Recoils soft, steady, and easy to tame even with hotter plus P9mm rounds. I've packed the VP9SK through cold snaps, layered up in a strong side outside the waistband holster. Sure, it's not the tiniest thing out there, but it's the one that leaves me feeling like I'm ready if things go sideways. If you don't mind a bit of extra heft in exchange for real control and shootability, the VP9SK deserves a place in your rotation. And if you're wondering how it runs when the lead's flying, let me tell you, the trigger's the real deal. Smooth pull, clean break, with just the right amount of take-up for carry and short enough to stay quick when your heart's pounding. On rapid strings, it holds steady and true. Reloads feel natural. And with a little time behind the sights, that paddle mag release might just outpace a button, especially if you're shooting with your support hand. I've run this pistol through close-up drills, pressure reloads, moving to cover the whole works. And I'll say this much, it's a compact that plays in the big leagues. The Sig P365X is like that quiet fella who shows up at the range, don't say much, then runs circles around everyone else. It ain't loud, it ain't flashy, it just flat out gets the job done again and again. Sig took what folks already liked about the original P365, that slim build and 10+1 or 12+1 capacity, and made it even better. The X model brings in a longer grip that gives you more control, a flat-face trigger that breaks clean every time, and a slide cut for optics that pairs up real nice with today's micro red dots. But here's what really counts. Once you holster it, it vanishes. It points like it's part of your hand and lets you hammer out quick, accurate follow-ups even when the pressure's on. This pistol didn't just earn its reputation on paper, it earned it the hard way, through real-world carry, real use, and countless hours on the firing line. It ain't just the go-to for millions of folks. It earned that title by being exactly what people look for in a gun that might have to save their life. Small, easy to run, rock-solid, dependable. Truth be told, we don't need to yak too long about the P365X. It's already proved itself on the range, in the field, and in holsters from coast to coast. Let me just lay it out. Plain the Walther PPSM2 is the sleeper of the concealed carry world. It don't have the buzz of the P365 or the marketing muscle of Glock. But when it comes to showing up when it matters, this one's no slouch. It's a true single-stack 9mm with a slim profile that pretty much melts into your waistband. I mean it, you almost forget you've got it on. But when it's time to draw, the PPSM2 gives you a grip that feels like a full size. And the trigger? Smoother than what you'll find on guns costing twice as much. The break is sharp, the reset is quick, and controls downright impressive for something this thin. I've run this pistol through defensive drills, low light work, even weak hand-only shooting. And it delivers every single time. It's not set up for optics, and it don't come with bells and whistles. But here's the thing, not all of us are after that. Some of us just want a gun that works when it's needed, points true, and vanishes the moment it's holstered. I've carried the PPSM2 on long hauls across state lines, in the thick of summer heat, and under light clothes, and it's never printed, never jammed, and never once made me second-guess strapping it on. Sure, you'll find shinier specs on paper if you chase the newer models, but there ain't many that match what this one offers in real-world comfort and how it runs. If you're looking for a tried-and-true, easy-to-carry, dead-nuts, reliable single-stack that just plain works, this is it. You want a no-nonsense carry gun with real roots? Take a look at the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield Plus. This piece didn't just pop up begging for attention, it earned its place, round after round, year after year. Smith & Wesson took what folks already counted on with the original Shield and finally gave it the upgrades. We'd been asking for more capacity, a better trigger, ready for optics, and still slim enough to disappear when you need it to. It carries 13+1 with the extended mag and 10+1 flush. And you feel every one of those extra rounds where it counts in your confidence. Not your waistband. That flat-faced trigger is worlds better than the gritty one from the early days. It snaps clean with just the right amount of wall to keep it safe for everyday carry. I've run this pistol through scorching summers, long hauls behind the wheel, even full-day training out in the open, and it hasn't missed a beat. It's got just enough texture on the grip to stay locked in when you're running fast, but it ain't bulky enough to print through your shirt. What I respect most, it doesn't try to reinvent the wheel, it's just a tool that does its job every single time. You don't need a doctorate in tactical work to run it well, you just need some range time and a reason to carry. Bottom line, the Shield Plus is what happens when a company actually listens to the folks out there. Living this life, solid, smart, always ready. Glock 43X MOS. This pistol ain't just popular, it's dang near a benchmark in the concealed carry world. Let's talk about what it gets right. You're starting with 10+1 rounds right out of the box. And if you run those Shield Arms 15-round steel mags, you're getting true double stack capacity in a frame that still stays slim without jumping up to a bulkier rig. It's optics ready too, with a factory-cut slide that fits Wesson 507K dots and other micros in that same footprint class. In 2025, that's a big deal. Ergonomics? If you've shot a Glock before, it's going to feel like home, straightforward, predictable, and easy to train with. The grip's narrow but solid, and most folks can wrap 3 fingers around it without add-ons. Recoil's no problem, slide runs fast, muzzle rise is straight up, and you can crank out follow-up shots that stay tight and controlled. Now, what it don't get quite right, the stock trigger. It's workable, sure, but kinda squishy with a vague wall and a springy reset. If you're shooting hard or often, you'll probably want to swap it out. Same goes for the factory sights. They're plastic, sit low, and don't give you much to write home about. Most serious carriers yank them off and put on steel or night sights right off the bat. And if you're using those 15-round mags, keep in mind they ain't factory. So if you're going to carry with them, test your setup. Make sure it runs clean. Still, when you look at how it balances capacity, concealability, and support for upgrades, the Glock 43X MOS hits a real sweet spot. It ain't perfect, but it's dependable. It flexes where you need it to. And in the world of everyday carry, that's the kind of mix that earns it a top spot. Look, your gun's a tool. It don't make you. What counts is your mindset, your time behind the trigger, and how you handle pressure when things go sideways. That's what gets you home. This video ain't about hype. It's about honest tools for honest folks in a world that sure don't always play fair. So carry what works, train like your life might depend on it, and build the kind of confidence that don't come from a price tag. It comes from putting in the work. If this gave you something to chew on, go ahead and hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let's talk about what you carry and why you trust it. Subscribe if you're here for more than just shiny reviews, cause this channel's for folks who live ready, not just talk about it. Stay sharp, stay steady, and carry not out of fear but out of responsibility. Cause one day, help might not be on the way, and it'll fall on you to stand tall and act.